Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video. Today's video is different from my usual data structure and leak code video. That is because I started a online course on the website Coursera. It's about the Google Cybersecurity certificate or whatever. And what better way to sort of like understand what I'm reading is by making a video and try to explain it. So, and this is kind of good for viewers too, if viewers don't really feel like, paying for this thing to do the course and get the certificate, then you can go ahead and just maybe use this. Hopefully it'll help. If it doesn't, I'm sorry. I'll try my best to explain it and summarize it. So if you have any questions, just put it just comment it or something. I don't freaking know. Okay, anyway, so this is cybersecurity from Google. I'm gonna be doing it. It says it takes about 6 months, but I'm gonna try to do it within like a month or something. I'm just gonna lock in and do it. It has 7 or 8 courses inside, and each of the course has I don't know how many modules is in there, but the first one has 4 modules, and I completed the first one. So for this Google slide, it is on the first course, first module. Okay. All right. So at the beginning, it just sort of gives you an introduction of the cybersecurity, or basically get started with the certificate program. They tell you about this certificate, benefits, overview. They introduce themselves, blah blah blah. So intro, overview, useful resource and tips, all of that. Okay, so let's begin. Cybersecurity by Google. And another thing, I can't show you the Coursera stuff because it is paid, so the best I can do is just give you a summary. And I just put this is a 10-minute Google slide that I just randomly put in because I think it's good enough, Okay, so what we have here is the basics. What is cybersecurity? Cybersecurity is the practice of protecting networks, devices, people, and data. To basically ensure, what we have here is CIA, confidentiality, I think that's how you say it. Data is only accessed by authorized user. Integrity, data is accurate and not altered. Availability, systems and data are accessible when needed. So a good, CIA, funny, but that's not really how CIA is. So you get the idea. Okay, so example, using complex passwords, improve confidentiality by making accounts harder to break into. Sorry for sort of butchering the word, but I'm trying my best. Okay, so the next thing they sort of talked about is about threat actors. So what we have here is, so a threat actor is any person or a group that poses a security risk, right? That can be either a hacker or hackers, malicious insiders, accidental users. Yes, even mistakes can count as a risk. So if, say, you accidentally did something horrible and gave a company computer viruses, then that is still count as a threat actor. Okay, and the types of threats can be either external or internal. External are basically people on the outside, so hackers, cyber criminals, phishing attacks. And the internal, it will be employees clicking malicious links, either whether it's accidentally or intentionally, just to abuse the access. And on the last bullet point, vendors or partners misusing systems. So those can be internal threats, basically come from inside the organization. Yeah. Okay. So now, the next thing they talked about was, what do security teams do? And basically, I've written down all 5 of them. Protect against threats. So it basically detect, prevent, and respond to both internal and external risk. Incident response. If a breach happens, security team are going to contain it, fix it, and then reduce the damage. Yeah? What's a good way to sort of say it? The SCP Foundation? Yeah, something like that. If you know about the SCP, it's kind of like that, You see a threat, you contain it, you try to fix it, and then reduce damage that the community or basically outside have seen. Yeah. If you know SAP, you understand. Okay, so regulatory compliance. This is where you ensure like the organization follows like law, regulations, security standards, stuff like that. And by doing that, you sort of like avoid fines or like and it protects users like ethically. So business continuity. It keep operations running even during incidents, reduce like downtime and recovery costs, all of that. Maintain brand trust, so data breaches damage reputation, and it kind of just means like if you have loss of trust, it means you're losing customers and revenue and all that, So some of the common security job titles: security analyst, that's a specialist. So cybersecurity, same thing. We have the SOC, so Security Operations Center Analyst, Information Security Analyst. Yeah. And then I believe they mentioned that these roles will be more explained. It will be explained more later on. I just haven't seen it yet. So what we have here is sort of like a summary about phishing. So for phishing tactics is sort of like there's two of them. We have the tactic and the indicator. And you need to sort of know like the difference between these two because they're not the same thing, right? So phishing tactics is common tactics where it's like right here, urgency, where it says like act now or immediate action required, some kind of fear onto you, like your account is locked or suspicious activity detected, authority. So like impersonating either a manager, a bank, some kind of IT department, or even government agencies, things like that. So they're sort of like a psychological tricks. So they're not proof of phishing on their own, but they are there to sort of like exploit your emotion, and not through like not technology itself. Now, indicator on the other hand is the red flag where they are basically proof of phishing. So it would be like, for example, incorrect sender domain, right? Let's say your bank is bankofamerica.com, right? But instead the link is something like, the domain says something like banksupport.com, and then it says something like America / America. Like that would just be incorrect. Mismatch links, instead of saying like bank.com, it'll say something like loginbank.net or .com, whatever, like the link set, the text will say something like this, but the link sends you to somewhere else. Malicious attachments, all of that. So if a technical indicator exists, the message is basically malicious. So yeah. And that's basically sort of like the best way to how to think like a security analyst is like, you need to know that tactic explains the intention while the indicators confirm the threat, right? And oh yeah, one more thing about like common indicators or content indicators, they're suspicious, just not proofs, right? So it's not guarantee phishing, but they give like a suspicion. So for example, like poor grammar or spelling, sometimes it can happen, but it does raise a suspicious. Like you'd be like, is this right? Generic greetings like dear customer, or some kind of unusual request like buying gift cards, sharing passwords, sending personal information, all of that. You just need to know legitimate like emails can have typos, but most of the time it also raises your eyebrow a little bit. You're like, is this it? So all right, so Next up, entry level. They talked about entry level security analyst. And by the way, I'm going in order. Okay, I'm going in order. So core responsibility of entry level security analyst. So in a big picture, just know that right now technology is evolving very fast. AI is going very fast. So what happens is attackers also evolve fast, and so for a security analyst, they must constantly grow their skill to protect sensitive information. So what they do would be one, monitor and protect systems. This is their main primary responsibility, is to monitor an organization's internal network. They need to watch out for suspicious activity, security alert, potential breaches, and if a threat is detected, then security analysts would usually be the first to respond. Yeah, think of that as a front line. Identify the weakness. They don't just wait for attacks. They also have to check if the system itself has any weaknesses. So they'll do things like penetration testing, ethical hacking by testing their own system, finding vulnerabilities before attackers do. So think of it like when you're locking your car, right? And then you then pull on the handle just to make sure it's actually locked. Even though you locked it, you want to double check basically. I don't know if that's a good example, but hopefully it works. Prevent threats before they happen. So security analysts work closely with basically the IT teams, development teams. So they would do tasks that includes installing prevention software, identifying risk and vulnerabilities early, supporting secure software and hardware development, ensuring systems meet the data protection requirements. So, yeah. Conduct security audits. Security audits is a review of the records. So security records, activities, policies, and documents, right? So, you're making sure things like passwords aren't really shared or confidential, data isn't accessible to everyone. Things like those. Okay, so what else? Oh, that's right. Yeah. After next one. Okay, so some of the terminologies, I guess, common cybersecurity terminologies. So what we have here is we have cybersecurity. Again, like I said, CIA. Protecting networks, device, people, and data. So, confidentiality. I don't know how to say it. Integrity, availability. Security analyst. I already mentioned it. Compliances. Purpose is to avoid fines, breaches, meet legal and ethical obligations. Security frameworks. This is the guideline for building a security plan. It helps the organization to identify threats or risk, protect data and privacy, things like that. Security control, you have firewalls, access controls, encryption, all of that. Security posture, ability to protect assets, ability to respond to changes. So strong posture gives lower risk. Threat actor already explained. Internal, external threats also explained. Security network security are protecting an organization's network infrastructure. So it covers data, system, device, service, and it overall prevents unauthorized access, right? Cloud security, it focuses on proper configuration, limited access to authorized users, protecting assets stored in the cloud. And, cloud is remote service. So, or servers, sorry, not service. Servers. So data center and then access through the internet. And programming. Programming and security, programming is used to automate tasks, analyze web traffic, detect suspicious behavior, all of that. So these are just the common terminologies that was listed in Google certificate. So, yeah. Okay, so they also talked about transferable skills and technical skills. Yeah, So in a way, you need to know that security analyst relies on transferable skills, though, so they can be like just life experience or from any job, and then technical skills that like you need to learn these like tools, systems, and languages. So, and I believe they mentioned that they would teach us, or tell us about it. Some of the transferable skills are like things that come from like your life experience or just school, things like communication, collaboration, and analytical thinking, problem solving, all of that. You already kind of know it. How to talk, communication, how to talk to people, collaboration, how to work with people, and analytical thinking, how to think properly, and then problem solving, how to take a quiz or exam, things like that. You get the idea. Now the technical skill would be like programming. You need to sort of know a little bit of programming, so a little bit of language like Python, SQL. So even if you have zero programming experiences, the course does teach you that. SIM tool, so security information and event management. The SIEM tool helps analysts do things like collect security data, detect suspicious activity, analyze threats, risk, and vulnerability. So SIEM is like the central nervous system of security monitoring. Computer forensics, similar to, think of like a crime scene, right? Investigation, but you're in like the digital world instead. A digital forensics involves like identifying evidence, analyzing the incident, preserving like the digital data. These are used when investigating breaches, tracing unauthorized access, supporting incident response. Think of it as like a real crime scene. You're gathering information, evidence, looking around the incident area, and try to like keep evidence that you found for future use, or catching whoever you need to catch. Okay, so they mention why this sort of matters. Okay, sorry. Okay, so they mention why this sort of matters, like why the security matters. What we have here are just four of them. We have the business continuity, ethical responsibility, legal compliance, protecting people. So when it comes to the business side, security helps the organization, right? It keeps operating the business during incidents. So if hackers are hacking, the security themselves will figure that out while the business continues. This way it will also avoid like financial losses and downtime, all of that. Ethical and legal responsibility. Organizations have legal obligations like laws, regulations, moral obligation to protect user data. So a data breach can harm that organization's reputation. And it will definitely harm like the user or customers, you would say, as well as employees. So that's very important, why it matters. We have like the legal compliances and like trust, business value. You want the user to trust the whatever they're using, right? Like, let's say a bank. You want the user to trust the bank. So you need a good security for the bank digitally. If they have a crappy one, who's gonna go for that bank? No one. Like, no matter what benefit you give them, if the security is crap and someone can just easily hack into it, no one's gonna apply for it. So a weak security, it damages the brand reputation. It's gonna reduce the trust, obviously, and long-term wise, it's not good. Protecting people, protecting personal data. So what we have here is PII and SPII. So personally identifiable information and sensitive personally identifiable information. So PII is any information that can just identify this individual. Your full name, your date of birth, your address, your phone number, your email address, your IP address, right? These are fine. Technically, you don't really tell someone your IP address, but you would most likely, certainly, when you met someone new, you would tell them, "Hey, this is my name." If they ask a question like, "Hey, when were you born?" You know, these are like questions you don't mind giving out because it's not gonna really harm you that badly. Or you know, but I don't know. I probably wouldn't give a stranger my address, but I can give them my phone number because it's not really gonna hurt. Unless they decide to sell my phone number to like some scammers and then I get like 200 billion like freaking scam calls, then yeah, that would be pretty sad. But whatever. And an email address, kind of the same thing. These are things you would like. You don't mind giving to someone. Probably not someone you just met, but someone you probably feel comfortable with after a while. But now the sensitive part, which is the SPII, these are the ones that you will never give to anyone, not even your friends. So things like social security number, your medical records, maybe, financial information. I don't think anyone would really give your friends like, "Hey, this is my financial information, blah, blah, blah. Here's my W-2 ticket." No, I don't think anyone would do that. You can just tell your friends, "Hey, I'm broke. I'm just making this much money, blah, blah, blah." But, you can probably do that, but like, that's about it. You definitely wouldn't randomly give your friend like your social security number, right? Haha, I don't know. But yeah, basically these things is what you call like identity theft, it would lead to identity theft. And the whole point of identity theft is they're stealing personal data or like impersonating the person, committing fraud, doing all sorts of things. And their primary objectives is just to gain money, financial gain, all of that. So kind of need to know this a little bit too. All right, so yeah, just things like that. Okay, they also did mention, and I didn't put in the slide, that they talked about why security analysts are in high demand. And again, like they kind of explained it over here. It's just basically like it's the practice of protecting networks, device, and people and data. And apparently, according to what they say, the U.S. Labor statistics, that demand for security professionals is expected to grow over 30% by 2030. I mean, if like translation, strong jobs, a lot of jobs are in high demand, and I'm like, okay, I understand. So maybe if I do this, I can get a job. Maybe. Maybe not. Anyway. Okay, so what we have here... Anyway, let's just continue. So what we have here is skills that security analysts used. This is basically analytical thinking. It means like thinking carefully, logically, all of that. Collaboration, you want to work with others that has the same goal. Malware prevention... malware is a software designed to harm systems, and so what you want to do is you want to prevent that. Communication, talk to your people. Understanding programming language, just software, you want to work with like software development teams, security tools, automation script, all of that. So have a little understanding of that. And here's the SIEM tools, all of that. Okay, let's see what else. Oh, that's it. Okay, cool. Yeah, so that's basically course 1, module 1 of everything. And yeah, let's see. Oh, that's not that bad. All right, anyway, thanks for watching. I'll try my best to upload module 2 either tomorrow, within a day or two. And hopefully I can complete this whole course within a month so that I can get a job and just be happy. But who knows, anything can happen. All right, thanks for watching. Bye. if you want to see another side of me that isn't always about computer science, then check out my other YouTube channel and come and watch my Twitch where I play a bunch of competitive games either by myself or with my friends. And not only that, but I do have my Discord available just in case if you wanted to add me either to just talk about anything, whatever you want, or have some kind of question from my video. Thanks.